And a warm welcome. This is Thelma FM, and you are listening to Forgotten Songs from the Broom Cupboard in its show number 17. And we have a right rollicking start. It's a right old hoedown record here from Alma Cogan. It's Lizzie Borden, and it starts off in a very, let's say, well, you think it's just a good old showstopper, but it gets a bit darker, and I'm dedicating this, not for its darkness, but for its show-stopping ability, to my colleague and friend Joyce.
What's gonna happen to the hoedown?
What's gonna happen to the hoedown? What in the world's gonna happen to the hoedown now?
Something's wrong with the hoedown.
What in the world's gonna happen to the hoedown now?
What went wrong with the hoedown?
What in the world's gonna happen to the hoedown since Elizabeth back in lowdown? What in the world's gonna happen to the hoedown now?
Who's Elizabeth?
How in the world are we ever gonna have it now?
Or Lizzie Borden?
How in the world are we ever gonna have it now?
What a showdown!
How in the world are we gonna have a hoedown? It's a day for Elizabeth's showdown. How in the world are we gonna have a hoedown now?
Don't you know what happened yesterday morning? Sometime between 10 o'clock and noon. The thing that happened without any warning.
The biggest news since Mrs. Cheers went up in that balloon. What in the world's gonna happen to the hoedown now?
You mean the trial of Lizzie?
What in the world's gonna happen to the hoedown now?
It's gonna keep you busy.
What in the world's gonna happen to the hoedown? Will we let the hoedown go down? What in the world's gonna happen since she got her parents napping? What in the world's gonna happen to the Saturday afternoon? Oh, down. What in the world's gonna happen to the hoedown now?
One hot day in Old Fall River, Mr. Andrew Borden died, and they booked his daughter Lizzie on a charge of homicide. Some folks say she didn't do it, others say of course she did, but they all agree Miss Lizzie B was quite a problem kid. 'Cause you can't chop your papa up in Massachusetts, not even if it's planned as a surprise. Oh no!
No, you can't chop your papa up in
Massachusetts, you know how neighbors love to criticize. Now she got him on the sofa where he'd gone to take a snooze. I hope he went to heaven, 'cause he wasn't wearing shoes. Lizzie kinda rearranged him with a hatchet, so they say, and then she got her mother in the same old-fashioned way. But you can't chop your mama up in Massachusetts, not even if you're tired of her cuisine. Oh no!
No, you can't chop your mama up in
Massachusetts. If you do, you know there's bound to be a scene. Now it wasn't done for pleasure, and it wasn't done for spite. It wasn't done because the lady wasn't very bright. She'd always done the slightest thing that Mom and Papa did. They said, Lizzie, cut it out, and that's exactly what she did. But you can't chop your papa up in Massachusetts and then get dressed to go out for a walk. Oh no!
No, you can't chop your papa up in
Massachusetts. Massachusetts is a far cry from New York.
What's gonna happen to the hoedown? What in the world's gonna happen to the hoedown? Yeah!
Marvellous start, isn't it? I mean, now, Alma Cogan was billed as the girl with the giggle in her voice, even when she was singing about someone who brutally murdered their parents. Absolutely fabulous. That was 1961. It was from a musical called New Faces. God knows what all that was about. Quite dark. Anyway, we had a slight change of pace here. We got up next the McCravey brothers, with James and Frank McCravey. Original name was Macready, and they were Scottish-Irish evangelical singers. So always a bit of a religious theme, but nonetheless, I kind of like this. So let's have a listen. 1931.
Early in the morning, before it is too late. Yes, my lord. Just when day is dawning, to swing on the Golden Gate. Mr. Lou, Brother Joe, and Aunt Mariah, done gone, and so must I. I feel like I will expire if I don't get there by and by. Then wake me, hallelujah, shake me, don't let me sleep too late. For I'm a-gwine away in the morning to swing on the Golden Gate. Get your tickets at half rate. I'll bid goodbye to sorrow when I swing on the Golden Gate. There'll be a mighty singing and a shouting when we get on the aisle that day. There'll be no weeping and the parting, 'cause we're all gonna feel so gay. Then awake me, hallelujah, shake me, yes, don't let me sleep too late. For I'm a-gwine away in the morning to swing on the Golden Gate. Come and join the immigration. I don't want to leave you behind. We'll raise a great sensation when we reach that happy climb. Just to hand me down my linen duster, 'cause I'm bound for the look first rate. I must not lose my luster when I swing on the Golden Gate. Then awake me, hallelujah, shake me, yes, don't let me sleep too late. For I'm a-gwine away in the morning to swing on the Golden Gate. To swing on the Golden Gate.
The McCravey brothers, James and Frank, who were very popular in the 1920s and 30s in northern Southern Carolina, all through the Appalachians. Very much that sound, isn't it, with the banjo and the fiddle. I quite like that. Now, up next, usually you can find stuff up about artists and bands. I couldn't really find initially anything about this. It's Paula Green and her orchestra, and it's There, I've Said It Again. I'd be interested. I'll do some further research, but I couldn't immediately find who Paula Green was, American or British.
Can I say, believe me, there's no other way. I love you, no use to pretend. Then I said it again. I said it, there's nothing to hide. It's better than burning inside. I love you, I will to the end. Then I said it again. I tried to drum up a phrase that would sum up all that I feel for you. But what good are phrases? The force that amazes is you love me, and it's never leaves so deeply. Oh, one thing you saw, but one thing I want you to know. I've loved you since heaven knows when. Then I've said it again. Forgive me
I've loved you since heaven knows when. Then I said it again. I said it again.
Very pleasant, very mellow. That was There, I've Said It Again by Paula Green and her orchestra. Must find out more about her. You're listening to Forgotten Songs from the Broom Cupboard. This is show number 17. Where have you been for the previous 16? You can catch up with these. I will put them up for a catch-up soon. This is a programme where we trawl through and find artists, records, songs that you may have forgotten, that you may, may never have known. And I think very much this is the case with the records we've already heard, but not this one, because in fact this is a firm favourite of mine here, and I play a bit of Tennessee Ernie Ford, but again, not so much played really on conventional radio, but this is Shotgun Boogie.
Stands in the corner with the barrel so straight. I look out the window and over the gate. The big fat rabbits are jumping in the grass. Wait till they hear my old shotgun blast. Shotgun boogie, I done saw your track. Look out, Mr. Rabbit, when I cock my hammer back. Well, over on the ridge is a scaly bark. Hickory nuts so big you can see 'em in the dark. The big fat squirrels, they scratch and they fight. I'll be on that ridge before daylight with the shotgun boogie. All I need is one shot. Look out, bushy tail, tonight you'll be in the pot. I met a pretty gal, she was tall and thin. I asked her what she had, she said a Fox 410. I looked her up and down, said, boy, this is love. So we headed for the brush to shoot a big fat dove. Shotgun boogie, boy, the feathers flew. Look out, Mr. Dove, when she draws a bead on you. I sat down on a log, took her on my lap. She said, wait a minute, bud, you got to see my pap. He's got a 16 gauge choked down like a rifle. He don't like a man that's a-gonna trifle. Shotgun boogie, draws a bead so fine. Look out, big boy, he's loaded all the time. Called on her pap like a gentleman oughter. He said, no brush hunter's gonna get my daughter. He cocked back the hammer right on the spot. When the gun went off, I outrun the shot. Shotgun boogie, I wanted wedding bells. I'll be back, little gal, when your pappy runs out of shells.
I say that's a great shut-up line, isn't it? It's always good to talk about shotguns when you're trying to invite somebody out. Although I would say if I was of a Freudian nature, there was a lot of Freudian reference in that song about guns and things going off. But there we are. We always like Tennessee Ernie Ford. Great voice. Started off as a DJ, rather like myself, so I will be going on the road soon not. Right, Barbara Lyon is up next. Not somebody I knew. This is from the late 50s, I would imagine. C'est la vie. And I'll tell you a little bit about Barbara Lyon afterwards.
John's in love with John. John's in love with Jen. Jen's in love with someone who's not in love with him.
What was meant to be must be. C'est la vie, c'est la vie. Life's a funny thing when it comes to love. You don't always conquer the one you're dreaming of. As they say in old Paris, c'est la vie, c'est la vie. Those who fall in love agree. It's the unsolved mystery. If your big romance cannot be, you'll find someone new, Sherry. There goes Happy Jane. Here's the reason why. She just found a sweetheart, but no one's going to cry. Though she stole his love from me. C'est la vie, c'est la vie. She stole his love from me. C'est la vie, c'est la vie.
Oh, yes. Now, you see, I'd never heard of Barbara Lyon before, but that was very good. Very warm voice. That was Sailor V. Now, Barbara Lyon was the daughter of Ben Lyon and Bebe Daniels, who were an American couple who had a radio show and I think latterly a TV show here in Britain. Very successful, and Barbara Lyon was their daughter. I noticed the orchestration on that is just Jeff Love and his orchestra. If you are a child of the 60s and 70s like myself, you will remember getting music for pleasure albums. There was TV themes, film themes, Western themes. Jeff Love and his orchestra played a lot, I think most of them, to be honest. Very much a change of style next. But before that, I'll just say you are listening to Thelma FM. This is Forgotten Songs from the Broom Cupboard. Thelma FM is the broadcasting arm of the Living Memory Association, and we are based here at the Little Shop of Memory in Ocean Terminal, next to Debenhams first floor, although we are moving soon. So we have a hands-on museum here. You're welcome to come in. We're open 10:30 till 4 weekdays and 11 a.m. to 4 at weekends. As I say, hands-on museum. You can pick anything up and have a good look at it, which makes quite a difference, I think. So let's go to our next record, Bob Hamilton Trio, and this is Dinner Music for a Pack of Hungry Cannibals. There we are, you see. Now that is a title, isn't it? It says here with a proud boast, because I think this is very much the early days, Hammond electric organ, which they make a great deal of use of. Thelma FM, where else would you hear this level of lunacy? That was Bob Hamilton Trio, Dinner Music for a Pack of Hungry Cannibals. I do like a piece of music without a tune. But let's get back to the tunes. And I'm happy to say, I've always wanted to say this is a US import. And I imported it from the US. It cost a fortune in the end. But it is worth it because it's my absolute favourite Western swing, Bob Skiles and his Skyrockets, and this is one he did about 80 recordings, 80 records, him and the boys, the Kendrick brothers. This is one that I certainly wanted to get just because it's got an instrument that they used quite a lot, the bazooka. Not the missile launcher, but it was actually an instrument first of all. So this is Blue Bazooka Blues. Excellent.
Makes you wanna swing, makes you wanna sing, when he plays those blue bazooka blues. Blows the low down tone on his zookaphone, when he plays those blue bazooka blues. Mama didn't allow no music in here till she heard this man. Now she's trucking, swinging high, she's even got a band. Then he takes a break, leaves you wide awake, when he plays those blue bazooka blues. No music in here till she heard this man. Now she's trucking, swinging high, she even got a band. Then he takes a break, leaves you wide awake, when he plays those blue bazooka blues.
Bob's back. I bet you weren't expecting that, were you, from that old bazooka sound? But a bazooka, well, as far as I can see, looks like a tube with a funnel on the end of it. I'm quite tempted. Tell you what, we're going to play the other side of that after I play this next record. Now, 78s, these are all old 78s. Largely, they don't really... 78's absolutely finished at the beginning of the 60s, apparently. So that Bob Skiles was 1937, 1938. The next record is 1931. It's not in the best of conditions, but nonetheless, I wanted to play it. It is the Bowery Bums, as in Hobo, and it's by Hobo Jack Taylor. Now, that wasn't his real name. Unfortunately, terrible, isn't it, research? I've forgotten his real name. I will find out soon. But bear with it, because it's a little bit faded. It gets into its groove as we go on. But let's listen to Bowery Bums.
And Bowery Bums. I want to introduce you to the best bum in the world, and that's me. I've slept on the stations, I've slept on the rails, on tables, in stables, and in 40 old jails. I've slept on a mountain, I slept in a trench, but the place I love best is the park on a bench. There's one thing I hate, and that's working for bread. To stand with a shovel, I'd rather be dead. If there was a law that you must work or blow, I'd jump in the river a long time ago. Bim-bim-bum-bam, what a big bum I am. I want you to know I'm the best hobo man. They've thrown me from boxcars, they've thrown me from barns, from housetops, from barrooms, from hotels and farms. They've thrown me in snowstorms, in downpours of hail, but the worst was the time I was thrown into jail. When I was a boy, that's a long time ago, a man had me clear up his sidewalk of snow. He gave me a dime and a nickel, that's all. So I shoveled the snow right back into his hall. Chirra-bim-bim-bum-bam, what a big bum I am. I want you to know I'm the best hobo man. I've traveled all over this country, no doubt, from east through the west, round the north and the south. I've rolled in the mud like a turtle at play, and didn't take a bath yet since Armistice Day. I never was rich and I don't care to be, but if I woke up with $1 million, you see, I'd give up my castle, my servants and wife, to be just a bum for the rest of my life. Chirra-bim-bim-bum-bam, what a big bum I am. I want you to know I'm the best hobo man. East side, west side, all around the town. The Bowery Bums you can always see, shuffling up and down. Some of them are sober, while others can't see where they walk, and they bounce their heads every evening on the sidewalks of New York.
I just found a brand new band, and it's led by the accordion man. He plays hot, he plays sweet, he plays bone notes and piccolo feet. Red hot tunes when he pumps those bellows. I'm telling you folks, he's a rhythm fella. Oh, what fun when day is done, swinging with the accordion man. time and Hawaiian swing, Southern blues and even those Rancho Grande from Mexico. Well, I got no time, name them all. I just heard that squeeze box call. I can't relate, I take my day swinging with accordion man.
Very early Jimmy Shand there. As if. No, that was the other side of Bob Skiles and the Skyrockets, swinging with the accordion man. Ah, Bob, I love Bob. You are listening to Thelma FM. This is the broadcasting arm of the Living Memory Association, a reminiscence project based here in Edinburgh, in Leith, in the Little Shop of Memories in Ocean Terminal Shopping Centre. Please come and visit us. Also, check out our website, www.livingmemory.org.uk. You can listen to this station. We now have a schedule up on Facebook, which will tell you all the different slots that we have going on. We have a 24-hour service going out, with lots of reminiscence in between the various shows you can hear there. Now, one of the shows we have is my colleague Delphine's French Hour. So I'm going to encroach somewhat in her territory here. We've got Jean Sablon, and 1955. He was a singer, songwriter, actor, one of the first French singers to embrace jazz. And this is, well, obviously it's the English title. Delphine will be able to tell you much more, and will do. I believe her next hour will have some of this artist, but this is English title, The Cab.
Un fiacre allait trottinant, hop là, un fiacre allait trottinant, jaune avec un cocher blanc. Derrière les sorts baissés, hop là, derrière les sorts baissés, on entendit des baisers. Puis une voix criant Léon, hop là, puis une voix criant Léon, tu me fais mal au son lorgnon. Un vieux monsieur qui passait, hop là, un vieux monsieur qui passait, s'écrie mais on dirait que c'est ma femme dont j'entends la voix. Hop là, ma femme dont j'entends la voix, il se lance sur le pavé en bois. Mais il glisse sur le sol mouillé, hop là, mais il glisse sur le sol mouillé, craque le v'là écrabouillé. Du fiacre, une dame sort et dit, hop là, du fiacre une dame sort et dit, oh chouette Léon, c'est mon mari, y a plus besoin de nous cacher. Hop là, y a plus besoin de nous cacher, donne donc 100 sous à ce cocher. Un fiacre allait trottinant, jaune avec un cocher blanc. Un fiacre allait trottinant, jaune avec un cocher blanc.
And there he goes off into the distance. That was Jean Sablon from 1955. I did like that. Now, some records coming up with some connections or influences. Anyway, this is Connie Boswell. Now, Connie was, her and her sisters were the Boswell sisters, but Connie did a lot of records on her own, and she's reckoned to be one of the earliest influential jazz singers. She was white, but she influenced Ella Fitzgerald, and I think you can kind of see why. I like this one. It's this is The River's Taken Care of Me.
He told her he was leaving. She broke right down and cried. They both looked over my way to take somebody's side. But she's my pal and he's the boy I longed for. So you see I couldn't tell them what to do. I'd hate to lose a friendship. A friend is hard to find. And yet I'd be so happy if he were only mine. I wanted them to part but couldn't say so. Can't you see I couldn't tell them what to do? I couldn't say they were just not mated. 'Cause if I did, well, you know what I'd be. And yet I wish they were separated, because I know next to her he likes me. They argued right before me, 3 hours by the clock. Then I got up and left them and walked around the block. 'Cause she's my pal and he's the boy I've longed for. Can't you see I couldn't tell them what to do? He told her he was leaving and how she cried. They both looked my way to take somebody's side. She's my pal, he's the one I've longed for. So you see I couldn't tell them what to do. Don't want to lose a friendship. A friend is hard to find. Yet I'd be so happy if he were only mine. I wanted them to part but couldn't say so. Can't you see I couldn't tell them what to do? I couldn't say they weren't mated. 'Cause if I did, you know what I'd be. I wish that they were separated. 'Cause I know next to her he likes me. They argued before me 3 hours by the clock. Then I got up and left them and walked around the block. 'Cause she's my pal, he's the one I care for. Can't you see I couldn't tell them what to do?
You know, I spent a lot of time cleaning that record and thought I had it very nice, only to play the wrong side. So that wasn't, obviously, The River's Taken Care of Me. If we've got time, I'll put that in at the end. I think that was, I couldn't tell them what to do. And apologies, these records, as I've said before, they're not always in the best of conditions, but nonetheless, it's good to hear them because they haven't been heard for years. Now, this next band, I'm going to have to take a deep breath here. This is the Dixieland Jazz Group of NBO's Chamber Music Society of Lower Basin Street. Right, more importantly than that, the vocalist is Lena Horne.
hate to see that evening sun go down, 'cause my baby has left this town. If I'm feeling tomorrow just like I feel today, if I'm feeling tomorrow like I feel today, I'll pack my trunk and make my getaway. St. Louis woman with all her diamond rings stole that man of mine by her apron string. If it wasn't for powder and her store-bought hair, that man I love wouldn't have gone nowhere, nowhere. I've got the St. Louis blues, just as blue as I can be. Lord, that man's got a heart like a rock cast in the sea. Or else he wouldn't have gone so far from me. I love that man like a schoolboy loves his tie, just like an old Kentucky colonel loves his rock and ride. I guess I love that man until the day I die.
St. Louis Blues with vocals by Lena Horne, but the band was the Dixieland Jazz Group of NBO's Chamber Music Society of Lower Basin Street. Some records that have connections that you may not actually think are, but they are certainly. We start off with the haunting, beautiful voice of Paul Robeson. And this is an Erskine love lilt. Obviously, he's far away from Erskine, but it's just so haunting, Paul Robeson.
Sad am I Hark the music of my heart, harp of joy, O Christmas tree, moon of guidance by night, strength and light thou to me, bear me
Have all stood up on my arm. The beautiful, beautiful voice of Paul Robeson, and that was an Eriskay love lilt. Paul Robeson was a civil rights activist. He was branded many things by his home country of the US, and he spent a lot of time in Europe, spent a lot of time in Britain. He was an actor, singer. In college, he'd been a great athlete. And as I say, he had this kind of, because of his beliefs, he was hounded, I think is the word. Quite well known, Paul Robeson and his life. If you want to see, there's a couple of films made in Britain, actually. He had a great connection with Welsh miners, so he would do concerts for them back in the 30s. A man I didn't know anything about is Josh White. Again, a very similar vein, anti-segregation, folk singer, and again was hounded as being a pinko.
You gotta pick up your shovel, dig a hole in the sand, grab your shovel, shovel sand like a natural man, like a natural man, natural man, natural man, like a natural man. God Almighty made a monkey, God Almighty made a whale, God Almighty made a gator with hickeys all over his tail, all over his tail, over his tail, over his tail, over his tail. Matter when you marry, get a railroad man, every day'll be payday, a dollar bill in your hand, a dollar in your hand, in your hand, in your hand, in your hand. Water boy, oh, water boy, it's getting kind of thirsty. Oh, bring that water, set that bucket down. Water boy, God Almighty made a monkey, God Almighty made a whale, God Almighty made a gator with hickeys all over his tail, all over his tail, over his tail, over his tail, over his tail. Payday tomorrow, how do I know? Captain told the water boy told me so. Well, he told me so. He told me so. He told me so. He told me so. Water boy, oh, water boy, it's getting kind of thirsty. Bring that water, set that bucket down.
Well, I'd never even heard of Josh White before, but that's interesting. That was A Natural Man, recorded in London in 1950. As I say, rather persecuted, I think, would be a fair estimate of Josh White throughout his career. Now, there's not any musical connection, really, between these two records, but the next one is the Chas McDevitt Skiffle Group, and we're going to play the B-side to this, which is the Cotton Song. The other side you will know well, it's Freight Train, with Nancy Whiskey taking the lead vocal. Chas is doing the vocals on this. Now, the connection is that in his early days, Chas, who was born in Glasgow, used to write and was in correspondence with Josh White, which is interesting. So let's listen to this. Along with Lonnie Donegan, the Chaz's group were the only two British groups to break out of the UK and make it big in the USA.
When I was a little baby, my mommy rocked me in the cradle. In them old cotton fields at home. It was down in Louisiana, not a mile from Texarkana. In them old cotton fields at home. Now when them cotton bolls get rotten, we don't pick very much cotton. In them old cotton fields at home. It was down in Louisiana, not a mile from Texarkana. In them old cotton fields at home. When I was just 16, I went on down to New Orleans. In them old cotton fields at home. It was down in Louisiana, not a mile from Texarkana. In them old cotton fields at home. Now when them cotton holes get rotten, we don't pick very much cotton. It's in them old cotton fields at home. It was down in Louisiana, not a mile from Texarkana. In them old cotton fields at home. I went on down to Arkansas. They said, what you come here for? In them old cotton fields at home. It was down in Louisiana, not a mile from Texarkana. In them old cotton fields at home. Oh, when them cotton bolls get rotten, we don't pick very much cotton. In them old cotton fields at home. It was down in Louisiana, not a mile from Texarkana. In them old cotton fields at home. You may think it's very funny, but we didn't make much money in them old cotton fields at home. It was down in Louisiana, not a mile from Texarkana. In them old cotton fields at home. Oh, when them cotton holes get rotten, we don't pick very much cotton. In them old cotton fields at home. It was down in Louisiana, not a mile from Texarkana. In them old cotton fields at home.
Oh, yeah. I like that actually better than the more famous A-side Freight Train. I like Chaz's vocals. That sold 1 million. This record sold 1 million records, and they actually were on the Ed Sullivan Show in the US. You have been listening to Thelma FM, and you have been listening to this show, Forgotten Songs from the Broom Cupboard, which is a trawl through exactly what it says. Forgotten songs, songs you haven't even known, and sometimes songs you wished you had forgotten. If you want to, you can listen to us, Thelma FM, on the Alexa. If you go to your Alexa app and goes to Skills and do a search for Thelma FM, enable it, and then from then on you'll be able to tell Alexa to play Thelma FM. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. If you want to listen to this show again, it is repeated on Wednesday, Saturday and Sunday at 4 p.m. and we go out live generally on, sometimes a pre-recorded. We go out on a Friday at 11 a.m. We're going out with Nat Gonella and his New Georgians. There is a British band. There is some surprisingly good and I think quite authentic British music and big bands and blues and whatever. This is fantastically titled Blues Upstairs and Down, recorded in 1941. Thank you for listening.
Mm-hmm.